He had that Falcon, and I remember you backing out of the driveway with that. The engine was roaring, and you'd go flying out of the driveway.
I was going to pick up one of the kids at the school. I didn't do good with that.
But that made a lot more sense than the car you had. I mean, she had that little Falcon, and you had that big
That
Plymouth
VIP.
VIP. Yeah.
Well, Dad's liked the car, so I think that might be Nancy off day.
All those things make memories. If it hadn't happened, wouldn't have been that much fun.
That's true.
But isn't there a story about young Russ's Rambler American or something? Wasn't his first car the car that burned so much oil or whatever?
It was, yeah, we joke, check the gas and fill it up with oil.
What, it smoked a lot too?
Oh, smoke. You thought it was burning up.
One of you had a car, was it yours? No, that was Susie. Only went in reverse.
No, we had a car at the end. The one we bought from Johnson's, at the end it would only go backwards.
Is that the Pontiac?
It was a station wagon.
Yes.
I don't know what kind of car it was.
So what, did you guys drive your cars until they were ready to jump
yes.
or what?
We didn't, you never just got a car. You had to be a reason, like it didn't work. You didn't just go out and buy a new car to buy one. The other one had to be dead.
I think that's why it was such a big deal when you got that Dart, because you'd had so many old clunkers before that, right?
I think you guys thought that you just hit the jackpot, or maybe won the lottery when you got a new car like that.
Well, I remember, do you remember when I had that car accident?
Was that with the Horizon?
You're going over to Sarah's, right?
Well, the car was only 3 or 4 days old.
The car was? That might have been the Buick.
No, it was the Horizon. It was on the way over to Sarah's. You were on 7th Street, weren't you? You got hit on East Side on 7th Street in
Yes.
St. Paul? Yeah. Well, now, what was the deal? Did somebody go through a red light and hit you, or what? Or what was the circumstance? How did they hit you?
Oh, there was a hill this car was coming up, and I should have had plenty of time, because that other car I couldn't even see one.
Sure.
And I was making a left turn, and those kids, there were 2 boys, they were late for work,
And they were
speeding.
Oh.
Oh boy.
Well, you were just lucky you weren't.
And that boy that was driving the car went home and told his mom. He said, "I'm so concerned about that lady." He said, "I think I really hurt her."
Oh.
And she called me.
Did she really?
Now, did you get bruised up pretty bad or not in that accident? Do you remember?
I think I had a black eye.
Okay.
I don't know how I got that, but it did.
Wow.
I had a lot of black eyes.
You did, remember when you fell out of bed when, I think it was before Gabby was born, right when Gabby was born.
We got a picture of you holding Gabby with your whole side of your face was black
Yeah,
and blue.
you fell out of bed and hit your head.
Well, Russ was little, and I was working at the VA hospital. And I was playing with him on the bed, and he came up.
Ooh, and you had a black eye then too.
And I went to work with that black eye. And guess who got blamed?
Dad. Did they think he did it?
Well, they said, "What did you do to make him do that?" I said, "Our little boy did it." "Oh, no."
Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty hard to picture.
Well, kids have a pretty hard little head.
Oh,
Yes.
they do.
And I was coming down and he was coming up.
I've been whacked in the head and in the eye, and yeah, absolutely. Wow.
Well, I know what we wanted to ask you about was when you worked at Mounds Park. We were talking to Andy about this yesterday. When did you go back to work? Do you recall how old the kids were when you went?
I think Sarah was either 1st or 2nd grade.
Okay.
So that would have been in.
Because they asked me what hours I wanted, and I said 9 to 5:30.
They laughed at you, huh?
And they said, "Those aren't nurses' hours." And then they said, "Why do you want those hours?" And I said, "Well, my youngest is in 1st grade, and I don't trust her to lock up the house.
Well, she was too little.
Yeah. And well, she came home before I got home, but you were home.
Right, the big kids were home.
Yeah. And she was kind of a little scatterbrain anyway at that time. So I just told him I didn't want her to lock the house because I was afraid.
Well, she might lock herself out and need something even.
But didn't you at some point, you were working nights, weren't you?
Not there though.
Not there?
Not then. No,
Yep,
in
yep.
Brainerd I worked.
Oh, but at Mounds Park, you never worked nights then?
No.
Oh, okay.
So, I'm trying to think. You had your hysterectomy when I was in 9th grade. Were you working then? I think it was after that because you think you were there as a patient maybe and you really liked the hospital. Would it have been then? So maybe Sarah was in 2nd grade.
She could have been.
65?
And then you worked, I think, until my first year of college. Does that sound right? I think it was maybe right before Christmas, or was it even after? But Dad didn't like you working on Sundays. Wasn't that it?
So what were you
I
like?
had to work every other weekend.
Right.
But it was part-time, right? 0.5 or something? Or?
Probably about 0.5 or 0.6.
Half-time?
Yeah, it was.
Well, then Dad finally decided we'd get along on what he made.
Yeah.
Of course, he was...
That's when I started at Bible Study Fellowship.
Oh, it was right after that then. That was a good thing though.
Yeah.
And where was that? At what, First Lutheran?
No, the first one was in Fridley, right?
Yeah.
What church was that at?
It was a Lutheran church.
Okay. And then she came. Were you in it about 8 years?
6 or 7, I think.
6 or 7.
Well, I think I quit that shortly after Troy was born. Because they only had one car. And he needed so many.
Appointments, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so I gave that up.
Well, that'd be 1986.
So that I
yeah.
could help out Sarah.
Right.
Well, that'd be about the time we moved over on Coleman Lake there, I think.
Right. Yeah, that would have been about then.
And then Mike, was born in Marshall.
Right.
At the old hospital. He was born at the old hospital, right?
Hmm?
Didn't they open a new hospital between Mike and Nancy, or?
Nancy was born at the new one.
Okay. And of course now they've got a new one to replace that one. About 4 or 5 years ago they opened another new one.
Really?
Yeah, to replace that one, so.
Wow.
Well, when Mike was born, they had 2 old houses that were hospitals.
Wow. You wonder if they even had enough equipment.
But you stayed in a lot longer then, didn't you? Were you in the hospital for about a week then with?
Yeah.
And when did you bring him up to Minneapolis for his first surgery? Was that right away, or did you wait a while before you had a?
Just a few weeks.
Okay.
He wasn't very old.
Yeah.
I think he had his first surgery.
At 2 weeks, wasn't it?
Well, he called the surgeon,
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Yeager did. Well, first he didn't bother to call a surgeon. And so I was ready to go home. And he came in and I said, have you called the doctor? No. And I started to cry. I said, you told me you would.
Oh.
I said, they're going to want to see Mike right away.
Right.
I said, I've taken care of those babies, and they had surgery before they left the nursery.
Really?
Yeah. So he said, I'll do it today. And he did.
And did you go to the
Then he called me
Yeah.
and said, they want you down there right away. And I said, and he acted like he knew it all the time. I never went back to him.
Oh.
Because he's the one that thought you could wait 2 years, right? Or something like that?
Well, several months anyway.
So where'd you go to the University of Minnesota? Where did you actually go for the surgery then? Was it the
Children's in St. Paul.
Oh, okay.
I mean, we had a place to stay
Yeah.
because I could stay around.
So that then Grandma watched Russ, young Russ.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, how you guys doing?
Good.
Good.
Good morning. How you doing, Dorothy?
I'm doing fine.
Okay. I was just checking with you, okay? Is there anything you want me to do before I leave? You okay?
This is my daughter Nancy and my son-in-law Dave.
Hi.
Hi.
We actually took her out for a stroll around across the street here today.
That's
So.
nice. The weather is beautiful.
It's
Yeah.
so nice out there.
Yep.
Yeah.
The best time you get, you can enjoy it.
Yes, because
That's amazing.
you never know what the next
We're
day's
so
gonna
glad
bring.
winter's over, aren't we?
Yeah. So enjoy the rest of your Mother's Day, okay?
Thank you.
All right. See you tomorrow, hopefully.
Thank you.
No problem.
Yep, bye.
Yeah, they come about 4 times a day.
That's nice though, because she actually came and asked if there's something she could do for you.
Mhm.
A lot of them don't, I don't.
Yeah.
But Mom, you could, if there's something you need picked up or they might even take
Even
garbage.
throw clothes from the washer to the dryer or whatever, yeah.
Or maybe take garbage down. I don't know what they do.
Yeah.
I don't know what they'll do. I should ask her.
Doesn't
the
hurt
next
to ask.
time. They actually allot for 5 minutes a time, I think. It's not a lot, but is that off, Dave?
No.
Oh.
So getting back to Mike's surgery then, he had multiple surgeries, didn't he? But
Yeah.
how long between the first and the second surgery then? Was it almost right away he had another one?
Not right away. I think it was about a year.
Okay. So the first one is just to close it.
The
Up,
nose,
right?
see, the mouth, the lip was open
Yeah,
and the nose wasn't attached.
okay,
So this side of the nose and then this. And then the palate was open.
right,
So they just did the nose and the lip.
sure.
And then it was over a year later before they did the palate.
So you couldn't breastfeed though, could you, with
No.
that?
No. And I had to get, I couldn't use an even flow bottle. I had to go to the drugstore and I got the bottles where you put the nipple on, you pulled it on. I had to get what they called a calf's nipple
Oh.
and boiled it till it got real soft.
Oh,
So I never had to feed him with like a breast feeder.
With like a feeding tube.
oh, good.
And I just held him and I remember a friend of mine, Mars, came down one day and another gal had been down and she had gone to see Mars before and she said, I don't understand those bottles Dorothy's using. Because, you know, everybody used the even flows.
Right.
And Mars said, well, don't you know why? And then she explained why.
Oh, wow. That's great. I mean, that's great that you figured that out now. It's much safer.
But you say it was nice. You said when you were in nurses training, you'd taken care of kids with cleft lip and palates.
And
You
when
knew
I was a
it.
graduate, I worked in the nursery.
Oh, good.
And I remember that baby was so special to me.
Yeah,
I would always be the one to hold him up when the parents came.
Oh, when you were nurse, the baby with the, okay.
Mhm.
Wow.
So, and they always appreciated how nice I was to their baby.
The parents, yeah.
And
Isn't
I
that
didn't know
neat?
I was going to have a baby.
Isn't that?
See, my Uncle Sam was born with
Did he just have the cleft lip?
I'm not sure.
Yeah. It'd be interesting. We've lost so much history because Grandma's gone.
Mhm.
Wish we would have asked her more questions then, you know?
Yeah.
But at the time, you don't think of it, you know?
So how was young Russ with his little brother Mike? Because there was what was it, 3 years in between them?
3 years.
Was he pretty special to him? Was he good to him, or?
He loved the baby, but he'd tell the neighbors, oh, got no brother, but he's got a hurt lip.
Oh, isn't that precious? Oh, wow.
But boy, then you had him bing, bing, bing. It must have been tough once you had Mary and you had Mike, Nancy, Mary, all these three that are, within 3 years there. So, and that's right. Soon after, then Dad goes to Brainerd, right, and gets the job there.
Oh, and I was alone with those kids for 4 months.
Oh,
Oh, God. He couldn't even come home in that time at all?
He came home every other week.
That's not very much. Every other weekend, right?
Every other weekend.
But not even for...
No, not even a whole weekend.
Oh, wow.
Because he worked a half a day on Saturdays.
Oh, my gosh. So he'd have to leave on Sunday then? He'd be overnight, right? Just one...
Either that or leave real early on Monday morning.
Wow. That's amazing.
so who picked out the places to live? Like, since you were down in Marshall, he must have had to find you a place to live up in Brainerd then, huh?
Yeah.
The same thing in White Bear, didn't he? He bought the house, right?
We lived in an upstairs of a house.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. What's his name? Ole's house.
Oh, yeah, always. We lived upstairs and people downstairs moved out.
So we moved down there.
But you had all those kids in just a little duplex? It must have been a little tight, huh, for space?
Was the downstairs one bigger? Was the downstairs one bigger or not?
Yeah.
I remember the upstairs had a bathroom about the size of a pool hall. I mean, but it was dark. It was almost like it was the
And
craziest
I was
thing.
trying to potty train Mary. And she was screaming her head off and that bathroom window would be open and I said, I'm sure the kids think I'm killing her.
But wasn't she afraid of the bathroom though, kind of?
It was an awful big room.
Did it have a bathtub?
I don't know.
It just was the craziest. How many bedrooms did it have? The upstairs one? Just 2? You must have slept all over the place.
But you didn't live there that long before you bought the house, right? On Mill Street there?
Yeah, but then we only had 2 bedrooms.
Not at the Mill Avenue house.
No.
That was 3.
Yeah.
And that was actually fine. I mean,
You had an unfinished basement though, didn't you?
yeah,
Yes.
I love
I think we had Susan in with you.
with Mary and I know we moved down to White Bear. Susie was with us, with Mary and I, and Sarah was with you, and then Dad finished off that, or somebody finished off the bedroom downstairs, and the boys went down there eventually.
Yeah, Dad, I think. He did the bedroom, but the family room.
So Sue might have even lived with us a couple of years. But we didn't care. We didn't play in our
You sleep
rooms.
3 to a bed, or what'd you do then?
No, we had a day bed. I think, well, a crib, I think, maybe to the, did you have 2 cribs? To begin with. And then there was a day bed she slept on.
Yeah,
We fit them in.
Margaret and Jim gave us
The day bed?
a crib.
Oh, a crib, okay.
So that's how we had 2 cribs.
Well, that was nice because Sue wasn't ready to come out of her crib.
No.
Now, how about in Brainerd? Did the boys ever sleep downstairs or not?
No,
Because it was never finished, huh?
no, it was never finished. I loved that basement though, because I could roller skate all around. Roller skated,
So it wasn't divided at all, it was just wide open?
wide
huh?
open. And I would put on because those were the roller skates you put on over your shoes and then you had a key to, I'd roller skate backwards, I'd roller skate. I loved
Well,
it.
the roller rinks had skates like that.
Did they really?
And sometimes they had boys putting your skates on so they could tighten them. Sometimes they weren't tightened good enough and you'd be going pell-mell down and
Oh, the skate would fall
the
off?
skate would fall off.
Oh, did you fall then?
Mhm.
Oh, that could be dangerous.